Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and we are in episode 4 talking about the plateau busting little things that you can do to maybe help your diet move forward a little bit easier. And this one, as promised, as we closed out last week or yesterday, was the free foods, quote unquote, that sometimes have a lot of extra fiber and they try and sneak under that net carb radar, or polyols, some of the actual, are they ethyl alcohols? I don't think they're ethyl alcohol. They're just some form of polyol that is used. I'm drawing a blank on the actual name of these things. I even worked for a company for a while who did these. But they put these fats in there that are less than a fat, less than 9 calories per gram, and they end up sneaking through that grid the FDA has on food fact labeling, and it's just really it's calories that are there, Adam, that we have to count.
Yeah, these are usually one of the biggest things I come across when I'm looking at daily food logs. Now, the trick is getting your client to write them down, and if they are claiming to be free, and I know we see this many times a year, the biggest one I'll throw under the bus are the 0-calorie noodles. They're like suspended in water. Those usually have some kind of exotic yam extract in them, and they say they're 0. My clients eat them. They usually, the first thing they say is that they're gassy as can be and that their stomach hurts. It's usually a really, really harsh fiber that's in there. And of course, with that comes inflammation and very minimal weight loss. So we start investigating things, and I had this happen to a client. We looked for weeks, and I couldn't figure out what was bloating her, why she wasn't losing weight. She had posted them in my Facebook page after a week. Hey, has anyone tried these? These are a lifesaver. I thought, these are what I really need you to put on your daily food log. And she didn't, because they were free, and we cut those out. She's been losing amazingly ever since. So you have to play a little deeper digging sometimes with those foods that do claim to be 0. If your client believes it, they may not even put it on their food log.
Yeah, and this really gets into the other area of just processed food in general, because it's funny you bring up those particular noodles. I had a client do the exact same thing, exact same process. We could not find it. We were just raking everything over the coals to decide what the problem was, and here she was having that, I think, once or twice a day. And as soon as we took her off of those, she lost like crazy. But there are protein bars, other things that seem to constantly get tested and end up with 2 to 3 times the fat stated on the label, twice the carbs. I can't tell you how many times in my career, it seems like about once a year, a company gets tested and just blown out of the water. And those are the things that can be so easily just taken out, like an elimination diet. If you're having problems losing, everything looks fine on paper. Look at some of these things that we've talked about so far, the artificial sweeteners, the supplements, fiber that you may be missing, or just over consuming vegetables, actually getting some more nutrient density in with more carbs or protein, and even pulling your fiber down. But now here in our 4th episode, talking about the free foods, quote unquote, that just end up having way too much carbohydrate or fat, labeled differently, sometimes not even really by the manufacturer's persuasion. Like they're not saying, hey, let's sneak this through and try and screw everybody in the industry. Sometimes it's just the actual, co-producers compliance. I mean, you're the person creating the formula. Then you have a food science team, a food manufacturer produce these for you. Sometimes what's lost in translation is actually what's going into the product on a consistently tested basis.
Yeah, and I always just like to warn clients, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And you really, when you're in prep, you want to believe that you can have that. I mean, that's just natural, but really try to stick. Whole foods just have a really easy numerical value, and the more you complicate that, the more you risk your overall contest prep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So guys, we got one more episode for you. We're gonna dive into the actual movement side, cardio training, those kind of things that it could be on your radar in terms of what's not happening in your fat loss. So if you're hitting a plateau, this is going to be an area to look at. So we'll see you next time, and we'll close out this series.